A historic partnership lands in D.C., giving residents new pathways to the middle class and further establishing the district as the capital of creativity.
And then it's the fitness craze that's getting D.C. to loosen up and shake it. We're taking you to the National Mall for a workout sensation that's mixing fitness and fun.
Those stories are coming up. The news rundown is straight ahead. We Are Washington starts now.
Welcome to We Are Washington. High-paying jobs in theater take center stage as the Office of Cable Television, Film, Music, and Entertainment joins forces with the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees to provide specialized training to people dreaming of a job backstage.
And a new fitness craze takes D.C. by storm with DJs and dance routines that feel more like clubbing than exercising. We'll take you to the party on the Mall for a demonstration of 305 fitness that promises to make sweat sexy. We'll have that coming up for you later, but first, here's the news rundown.
Mayor Muriel Bowser welcomed grand families to their new home at Plaza West in Ward 6. Plaza West is the first affordable housing community designed for raising grandchildren in the district. The 12-story development is located in the Mount Vernon Triangle neighborhood and includes 9,500 square feet of recreational space with a range of amenities, including a library and kids' activity area.
50 units, as you've heard, in this building will be set aside for grandparents raising grandchildren, rented out at 30 to 40% of the area median income. And not just that, but there will be on-site social services to help grand families thrive. On top of that, 173 affordable units will be made available to families and individuals of all backgrounds.
I'm not just a Washingtonian, I'm an activist and a change agent, but most of all, my primary role is a devoted grandmother of a 9-year-old grandson, Richard. I'm proud to be one of the first residents here at Plaza West and a part of a newly developed grand family community.
The Plaza West development is the result of a collaboration between D.C. government and Bible Way Church.
The landmark modernization of MLK Memorial Library reached an important milestone with the completion of the structural exterior. Mayor Bowser celebrated the progress on the $211 million project with a ceremonial beam signing. The new Central Library will have a variety of modern amenities, including a transparent entryway, ground-level cafe with patio, a rooftop event space, and interactive children's area.
Not only will people be able to come here to borrow materials, we really think that this will be a life-changing center. We know that as the world changes, as our customers change, how they interact with the public library must also change.
We are adding 100,000 square feet of publicly usable space in this modernized building. The difference between what we open in 2 years as compared to what we closed last year will be simply astounding.
The library is scheduled to reopen in 2020. Maternal and infant health among women of color is a growing concern in D.C. as well as across the nation.
Mayor Bowser says she is sounding the alarm with the district's first Maternal and Infant Health Summit. Elected officials, health experts, and residents came together for the day-long summit at the Washington Convention Center. The goal of the conference was to develop an agenda that addresses racial disparities in birth outcomes and maternal mortality.
Collectively, more people are recognizing these trends and pointing out that in 2018, in the United States of America, we can and should be doing better for our women, our babies, and our families. We're sounding the alarm that these rates are even higher for women of color, particularly African American women.
The summit featured a conversation with Mayor Bowser and former senior advisor to President Barack Obama, Valerie Jarrett. The discussion was moderated by radio and TV executive Kathy Hughes.
So I did have the privilege of chairing the White House Council on Women and Girls, and our goal was to make sure that in all of our programs, all of our policies, all of the legislation that we supported, we looked at it through the lens of, does this make life for women and girls better? And so every single agency in the federal government was represented on the council. First time ever that had been the case. And our goal was to engage people all around the country and hold up best practices for what works from prenatal to senior citizens.
Mayor Bowser and council members co-hosted a welcoming reception for the 48th Annual Congressional Black Caucus Legislative Conference. The reception is an opportunity for district leaders to thank the CBC for their long-standing support of the district and a chance to highlight D.C.'s quest for statehood.
D.C. stuff goes to the floor all the time. And everybody gets to vote on it except the woman you sent to the Congress of the United States. We got to turn that around.
The Black Women's Agenda held their 41st annual symposium with the theme of bridging a legendary past to an awe-inspired future. Among the many speakers throughout the day-long event at the Marriott Marquis was Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams. The organization is dedicated to empowering and enriching the lives of Black women and their families. Black Women's Agenda was founded in 1977 right here in Washington, D.C.
Mayor Bowser was on familiar ground as she joined other alumni at American University for the 2018 Women Empowering Women Breakfast. The alumni panel also included Alexandria Mayor Allison Silderberg. The women shared their experiences of navigating their way to success in the political world and some of their memories from their days at the university. Mayor Bowser earned her master's degree in public policy at American in 2000. The Multicultural Media Correspondents Association held a diversity State of the Union.
Media heavyweights from companies like Netflix and Disney joined actors Common and Regina Hall to address the importance of diversity in their industry during the Congressional Black Caucus Conference. Following the panel discussion, there was a reception at the Fig and Olive restaurant honoring congressional media diversity champions, along with the cast of the movie The Hate U Give. The reception brought together leaders from every aspect of the entertainment industry to network and share experiences in their fields.
District leaders gathered on 9/11 at Engine Company 16 to honor first responders on the 17th anniversary of the terrorist attacks. Mayor Bowser thanked the city's first responders for their continued dedication to keeping Washingtonians and visitors to the nation's capital safe.
We are reminded each year at this time of two words, and that's never forget.
The graffiti of Cool Disco Dan has become synonymous with the history of D.C. in the 1980s. Now, two works by the late local icon will be on display in the ground floor of the atrium of the Wilson Building. For many, the stylized letters of Dan's name came to symbolize the district's turbulent history.
But really, his work, which we now consider art, is really a treasure to this city and to our history.
Cool Disco Dan's legend grew in part as a result of being featured in a documentary on 1980s subculture in D.C. The council's unveiling of his work coincided with the one-year anniversary of his death. Well, there's a lot going on, but we do have a quick moment to recap some of our news items from the week. What do we have first?
Well, I wanted to mention that one of the most highly anticipated aspects of the MLK Library is going to be this slide they're going to have from the children's area down to the first floor. I know everybody's going to love that.
A slide, yes.
And a slide. And the director of the libraries has invited the mayor and her young daughter to be the first to christen the slide in 2020, which I thought was very nice.
One of the most anticipated features in this new library is going to be a slide that's going to take children down the journey of learning from the second floor down to the main entrance. I hereby invite you in front of all these good people to christen that slide with your daughter.
The mayor agreed to that, so something to look forward to.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a fun interactive thing at the library. The next item we'd like to talk about here, Cool Disco Dan. Dan Hogue is his actual name. But what I think is funny every time I look back on this story, the council pointed it out at the event. They also pointed it out in the press release. What he did was definitely illegal back in the 1980s. And they don't want to encourage any more graffiti or tagging, but they did feel that his contribution transcended that.
Right.
And they wanted to point that out and highlight his contributions to the city. So I think that was an important thing
And
to
I think
highlight.
part of that, I think, is that since the 1980s, graffiti has been recognized as an
Yes.
art form, and
Yeah.
you see, especially in DC, has set aside areas for public art for graffiti, which is really nice, so that it's a part of the city, but not where it shouldn't be.
Finally today, the diversity in media panel discussion that we talked about. What an important topic, and lending their voices to it. Regina Hall, common among other people who are in the industry, from Netflix, Disney we mentioned. Really big theme from this is that media used to be something that was more centralized. Fewer people had access to a platform, and now today, if you have a cell phone and a few hundred or a few thousand or more than that followers on a social media site, you have a voice. And what they were trying to really emphasize was that there's responsibility with that voice.
Very important because things are changing so quickly.
So fast, yeah.
It looks one way now, and 5 years from now, who knows?
Who knows? All right, well, coming up after the break, put your skills to the test. The historic partnership is helping grow opportunity for DC residents to work in the entertainment industry.
And later, it's a party with the purpose of getting in shape. 305 Fitness comes to the mall.
Welcome back to We Are Washington, a historic partnership between the Office of Cable Television, Film, Music, and Entertainment and the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees is opening doors to good-paying careers for DC residents.
The training classes are highly specialized. They involve skills used throughout the entertainment industry, such as lighting, rigging, audio, and projection. Now, thousands of technicians and craftspersons will have greater access to the training needed to build their skill sets and advance their careers in filmmaking, television production, trade shows, and live theater.
And I remember where this was just a concept, a thought, and it's gone from a concept, thought, to an initiative, to an official training program. And that means a lot because what we're doing is creating a pathway to the middle class, a creative pathway to the middle class, a technical pathway to the middle class, in creating jobs.
I wish we had had something like this when I was initially a member. I went to school to learn my craft. And something like this, where there was a collaboration between the professional world and the academic world, would have really been a great help.
And I'm really excited mostly for the younger people because I think this is a great open door for them. I've had a long and great career, and I think that, I'm just excited to see more and more in the variety and the diversity of our local expanding because there's more training available and more people are getting into it.
The partnership will help members of IATSE Local 22 progress in their careers by building on skills needed to advance in the union's classification tier. Here's a closer look at how the program will connect more residents to DC's growing creative economy. Building a highly skilled workforce takes time, training, and the right people. The partnership between the DC Office of Cable Television, Film, Music, and Entertainment and IATSE Local 22 is bringing those elements together in a way like never before.
We are currently at the IATSE Local 22 hall. We do classes for stagehands, about 30 classes a year on average, and it ranges from very basic introduction classes all the way to more advanced rigging and electrical and that kind of thing.
If I'm standing like that and you push me, I'm less likely to fall over. Rigging is attaching things over people's heads. For us, for entertainment purposes, so how to lift objects safely over an audience is our main area.
It's a tough industry to get into, but persistence
I'll pass them both around
and going to classes is the way you're going to make it.
The partnership between the Training Fund and the Office of Cable Television, Film, Music, and Entertainment will allow interested residents on the referral list to take any IATSE technical training class free of charge.
Our main focus, especially with this class and some of our others, is to make sure you are lifting safely. You know, you're lifting over people's heads who often don't even think about what's over them. Generally, always think safe, always double check all your work. And we are teaching the Introductory to Rigging 101 class.
It gives an opportunity for people to learn stuff that they wouldn't necessarily be able to learn on the job. It gives you a more skilled employee across the board as a whole. You can walk into the job, and yes, we do a lot of hands-on learning, but having the basic knowledge ahead of time is greatly beneficial to everyone involved.
To learn more about the IATSE Local 22 Training Support Program or to get more information about becoming a member, you can contact 202-269-0212, or you can call the Office of Cable Television, Film, Music, and Entertainment at 202-727-6608.
Their motto, making sweat sexy. Coming up next, 305 Fitness takes over the National Mall. Welcome back to We Are Washington. We're here for Miami on the Mall, which I think is one of the hottest, best new fitness trends in the city. And best of all, it's so easy, even I can do it, okay?
Honestly, it's almost like being in a club, which is what we're trying to create, an environment that feels like you're in the club, but you're also getting a workout at the same time. So for me, it's always fun every single time. I never feel bad about coming to work, ever.
It's a one-of-a-kind experience to be a 305 instructor. It's a cardio dance party. Just like you go to any nightclub, your heart rate gets up, you're sweating, you take your shoes off. Like, it really is a dance party.
You shoulda, woulda, coulda got high with you. I shoulda let shot overrule. I shoulda done execute. We coulda left this crowd but two.
Let's go, take it back.
The energy is always great. It's always a fun-filled class. We're always moving and shaking. It's really fun.
Now that we have our own studio, it really feels like we have our place in DC, and just this really warm, welcoming environment for everyone, all types, genders, any person is welcome at 305.
What drew you to 305?
I really like the live DJ, the bright lights, the fun dance moves. It's just really fun, upbeat spirit.
It's extremely intense. The first time I did it, I looked at my Fitbit and I had burned 900 calories in an hour. Like, it was insane.
I'm actually an aerospace engineer in my real life, and 305 is my fun life. So I actually do this straight out of the heart, straight out of passion, because every single time I come to class, it is like exactly what I need in that moment. The clients inspire me so much, I would do it for free. It is just a special community we've built, and it's about lifting each other up, coming as you are, doing something that's bettering yourself, both mind, body, and soul. But it's like the camaraderie and the community that we've built, it just takes it that extra level. It is like my absolute passion.
It's awesome.
It's awesome, you like it?
Yeah, I like it.
Maybe next time you can join in.
Oh, no.
No. I bet you got some moves.
Oh, no, I don't.
No, you can learn some. What do you think of the class?
Awesome.
Yeah, it looks like a good workout, right?
Looks like a good workout, 100%. This guy wants me at any second.
You want to get
that
in?
That guy definitely does.
No. Okay.
He wants to. He said he's in, but he said it's the last song, so.
Oh, last song. What do you think of the class? Does it look like fun?
It looks like a great time.
Yeah, could you see yourself out there maybe shaking it a little bit, getting some good exercise?
Oh, absolutely. If it was not for the children, I'm sure I'd be right out there.
Okay, so the whole point is to make you feel like you're at the club
exactly,
rather than in the gym. And then I guess distract you from the idea that this isn't, what I want to be doing right now. I want to do something fun. I am doing something fun.
Exactly.
Was it fun? Did they accomplish the goal?
I don't think you can just take my word for it. I think you're going to have to join me for a class, so you would get the pleasure of embarrassing yourself, as I did.
Well, what did you think?
It's great. I love these classes. The one thing that's different is you are in a studio. They have the lights, they have the live DJ, and you're just having so much fun. It's such a great release, especially for, you know, DC crowd tends to be very hardworking, a little buttoned down. So it's really great for all of us to just get out there and, you know, dance like nobody's watching.
I was thinking about that. There was a nice backdrop. You know, you're on the mall, you have all of the museums, the monument, the Capitol. That's all the backdrop for it. But you would probably want a little more of a club atmosphere too. Maybe some of the lights.
Yeah, it is very different when it's, first of all, it's very air conditioned. You've got the lights going, you've got the DJ. It's a wonderful time. So we'll have a great time when I take you to class.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all the time we have for this show, but we do have time for one last thing.
All right, this week, one last thing. A little bit of history being made by the National Museum of African American History and Culture. They're having their first ever African American Film Fest, the Smithsonian African American Film Fest, and they're making a big splash right out of the gate. They're partnering with Netflix to feature the Quincy Jones documentary as part of the film festival when it happens.
What a great way to start off a festival because, you know, Quincy Jones has such a remarkable career from Count Basie to Michael Jackson. I mean, you can only imagine how fascinating that documentary is going to be.
Absolutely. He's worked with so many different people, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot to learn there. And again, you know, when you team up with Netflix to feature a film like that, they're doing their work, and they're producing a lot of content and a lot of great content. So I'm sure that's going to be a major draw and a big centerpiece to the whole event. They're going to feature over 80 films, though, throughout the entire film festival, and you get the sense already that this is something you could see growing and becoming an annual event that goes on there. So this will be the first of its kind.
And I would say get your tickets early.
Get your tickets early.
Yes.
Right. Well, that is all the time that we have today, but we'd like to thank you for joining us. Encourage you to watch more of our programs that we have available for you on YouTube. Search Entertain DC and listen to us on DC Radio 96.3 HD4.
See you next time.